Welcome back to another episode of Have You Heard, the podcast brought to you by the Social Shepherds. Today, I'm joined by Bobby, who's one of our senior social media managers here at the Social Shepherds. So I really wanted to bring him on as this topic is one that gets brought up a lot around the office in conversation with clients and brands that we work with. So we wanted to share sort of some of our thoughts and feelings about social SEO. To start off with, I think we really wanted to start off with some key stats that really encompass why social SEO has become a thing, why it's being talked about, and why we wanted to talk about it ultimately. So I think it really started off with Bobby when the Google's senior vice president actually came out and said young people, specifically about 40% of young people, are now going to places such as TikTok and Instagram over Google to research places like, restaurants, things to do in areas. Yeah. They're not using Google Maps as much. They're literally searching on TikTok or Instagram for things to do in a particular area. Yeah. I think that stat, I remember when that came out back in July, and that was one that really sort of created that conversation about social SEO. And it sort of really took over. And now ever since, we've got more stats, we've got more research done about social SEO. Again, TikTok have come out saying 58% of users discover new brands and products on the platform, making the rise of TikTok as a search destination a great opportunity. And then finally, 26% of users listed finding products to buy as their top reason for using social media, which shows their sort of intent for why they're using it, how they're maybe using the platforms, and then how social SEO becomes as a strategy.
And an untapped market that you can tailor all your content to.
Absolutely. So I guess to start off with, for people that are just sort of more hearing about social SEO and trying to understand what it is, how would you describe what social SEO is?
Sure. So social SEO, it's all about being discoverable. It's a term that's used like traditionally through digital marketing on websites, tweaking your blog post and website to make them rank really highly on search engines like Google and Bing and things like that. Social SEO, it's more about tweaking your content strategy to make it really tailored to hit the target audience that you're looking to serve your content to and make sure you reach those untapped consumers.
Definitely. And I think one thing that we always talk about is the platform differences, how we have that content strategy for TikTok versus Instagram and how we upload content, think about those content strategies and creation of those assets all has its own, unique perspective of how we then go about it. What would you say are the sort of the key platform differences when you're thinking about social SEO from TikTok versus Instagram?
Well, there's loads of differences. I mean, you've got to always start with like, where are your audience? What platforms are they on? And for young people, if that's the audience you're targeting, it's going to be TikTok to start with. We work across loads of different social platforms, and the differences are all in who those people are and how they're using the platform. So if we take TikTok, for example, that's where young people really go to search, as you said, for like restaurant recommendations, locations, brands, and
beauty products,
products
fashion,
of any
how
kind,
to wear, styling.
For sure. And so to kind of tap into that using the TikTok algorithm, it's all about making sure any place where there's an opportunity to put text information is utilized and is aligning to your overall search strategy and getting those keywords in. So it would be putting stuff in the caption, it would be making sure all the on-text wording, that's all got your keywords stuffed with keywords. Obviously you want it to feel natural, and you want to be using consumer terms that people are actually searching for. So if you take an example, so it would be a search phrase like a performance thermal, for example. No one's searching for that on TikTok. You've got to translate it into a narrative that feels natural to TikTok.
Yeah.
To do that, you'd start by taking that keyword that you want to be pushing product from, and then translate that into a search term. So you could go into platform, have a little look, and find actually, for example, thermal, that as a phrase has over 500 million uses on TikTok. And then you can apply that to a social narrative, something like putting our thermals to the test. That's an easy way to translate performance-based layer to a narrative that someone's actually going to search and want to see. So that's like the first difference, translating it to make it feel natural and native for the platform. But I think TikTok, the difference between TikTok versus Instagram is TikTok is a lot more controlled in terms of the where you can maximize and use SEO. They've got trending sounds, there's alt text you can tap into, and TikTok will take that and you will be able to search precisely within TikTok for content that hits those keywords. The slight difference with Instagram is it's more about user affinity and making sure your content is tailored for people. They aren't using Instagram quite in the same way as TikTok for search. You know, if you look at what Google are doing and their approach, they are creating iOS widgets. Apple are making iOS widgets for TikTok so that you can make it easier to search for things. Google are pulling up your TikTok videos up in their search engine. So Google know that, and the kind of big software companies know that TikTok is a place where people are literally searching for specific detail, and that will be served to them. Instagram, people still use that more for kind of thematic enjoyment. They'll be on there looking through the feed and want to see content they're used to seeing, that they've historically engaged with. And that's the difference with Instagram. If you want to tie that into your SEO strategy, it's making sure your content is telling the algorithm, this is the kind of content this video is or this post is, and therefore the algorithm can make sure it's reaching those right people.
Yeah, you made a good point actually of how TikTok is now getting more in the way of search traffic from Google itself. One thing I'm intrigued about is, are they going to replace that with YouTube Shorts in the sort of first page
hot topic
results
for sure?
I don't know if that goes against anti-competition laws and regulations and just like really dominating their own search with their own platforms. But I could envisage YouTube Shorts showing up more in search as Google continues to sort of develop.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is a bit of a monopoly from these companies on who's serving what. And at the end of the day, the social landscape as a whole is a bit fragile. So you never know what will happen. TikTok might be suddenly banned in your country. So you could have a need to move to YouTube Shorts so that suddenly that's actually pulling in straight away. It's good best practice to really have all your content across all platforms 100%. Tailored for SEO. The level at which they're going to be discoverable and tapping directly into search terms varies across the channels. But everything should be aligned to an SEO strategy. Definitely.
Because like YouTube, I know certain industries definitely get more, if anyone's looking for a real long form review video and you're trying to rank as a brand for that particular search term, maybe YouTube makes sense if you're, a car manufacturer or something like that, of people wanting to know every single detail about that car or that product, where it requires that longer form review. But if you can get the point across in a 15, 30 second or even minute length video, TikTok definitely feels more natural towards that. And again, looking at those demographics and, as you mentioned, where your industry fits, where your demographic fits, how they use each individual platform and tailoring it for that.
Absolutely. I think something to call out as well is the kind of evergreen approach to SEO. You're never going to be able to tie an SEO content strategy in with like high performance content and equate them equally perfectly. I think something to bear in mind is that when you apply an SEO content strategy, it's giving longevity to your videos rather than looking at instant gratification through vanity metrics. You're looking to be able to make sure that when someone wants to come back, and if, for example, a new trend emerges and suddenly people are searching for one kind of thing, which is something you can kind of identify through social listening tools, for example, it's making sure your content's prepped and is giving the algorithm signals, the right signals through your SEO optimizations, that this piece of content is what should be served to them, and taps into this theme or content area. And then when those trends start, or if the consumer and user behavior changes and they start searching for those things, your videos are kind of going to start ranking for them as well.
Yeah. How would you build the SEO side of social into your overall sort of overarching content strategy? Do you think it's like, hey, we should be doing 10% of our content output is covering key terms that we're looking to sort of build that presence in? Or should it be more reactive and looking for those maybe moments and trends, utilizing them, but bringing the SEO part and trying to rank for that particular moment in time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't think there's a one size fits all approach to SEO on social. It all depends on what kind of content you're creating for whom, and then looking at what search terms you're really targeting and which users are going to be searching for it. I think ultimately there's multiple ways you can do it. If you take, for example, a reactive approach, we've seen success tapping into trends and terms rather than looking at products and brand focuses on social. So, for example, if you tap into Tube Girl as a hashtag, for example, we've seen success with videos even that aren't 100% relevant to the trend. Like tapping into that can have a positive effect. And if you track through your content traffic sources, you can see that through tapping into trends and words like that. So there is a trend approach for sure. I think also another approach is looking, as I said, on kind of evergreen content and making sure there is a content split across all of your content that taps into SEO and those kind of brand and consumer-led terms and content throughout all your monthly posting, for example. So that's another way to do it. But I would say the best approach overall is just kind of constant optimization, making sure every video you're doing has some kind of signal as to what it is. Ultimately, I never think that you should sacrifice a piece of content because it's not perfect for your SEO strategy. Like social media should be fun at the end of the day. It's just making sure every piece of content and every piece of fun content that you're putting out there is just letting the algorithm know and sending the right signals that this is X, Y, and Z kind of content. So serve it out to the masses.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that just came to me then was just thinking, if you're able to, start dominating a particular search result, of a particular area or product that you're trying to promote, another way to sort of reinforce that, not only from a brand channel perspective, but also, hey, maybe we should actually start briefing in creators to produce content in and around this using the same terms. So, because if you're in TikTok search, you're not just going to see 4 videos and then keep scrolling of all the same brand. They're not, can't just dominate like as in Google as well. You don't just see it first page, just one website that's ranking for every term. There's cannibalization, but if you can utilize creators to, build upon what you've already built and seen success from, then you could have like 4 pieces of content as someone searches that particular item, and it's all about you guys as well.
For sure. I mean, I think SEO, your strategy, it has to be more than just each piece of content you're creating. As you said, like using content creators, influencers, using the full community, even the user generated content too. That's the best approach. Ultimately, social media is a community driven industry platform, lifestyle. And I think that if you want a holistic strategy that taps into every relevant area and makes your the terms you're wanting to rank for, your message, your key messages, if you want them to be front and center, it's got to be multifaceted in approach through content creators, your own content, even in the kind of community management in comment sections, managing the discourse and the conversations, steering them in the right way, using the terms that are going to be searchable. It paints a full landscape picture of a brand that knows how to tap into the search terms you're after.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Bobby.
You're welcome.
For joining me today.
Thank you.
Talking about social SEO. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions, please leave them below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and we will see you very, very soon.